Hello, is anybody here?
I'm here. We're here, but I think the teacher or the tutor is not here yet. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Hello,
you, but he's here right now. Is it not Asluka?
it's Abdul. He's not here yet.
Okay, thank you.
Oh. Mm.
Hello, everybody. Do we wait some minutes for guys to join or do we continue?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So good afternoon, everybody. I was trying to make time for other folks to join, but as it stands, not to waste our time, I'll just continue. So I'm Abdul, and I'll be taking us JavaScript today. So basically, we'll walk through JavaScript and get ourselves comfortable with some concepts. I'll be sharing my screen in a moment, but before then, I would love us to. I love this class to be interactive in a way, yeah. But if you have any questions or along the line, I see something I don't understand, you can pop the question on the chat box. I'll always come back here and read, then answer your questions. And feel free to ask anything you want to. Feel free. There's no restrictions. Feel free. Um, so I'll start now by sharing my screen. Kindly confirm if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So hi everybody. Welcome to basic JavaScript. And for this class, we'll be building some projects. Along the line, we'll make some terms and some analogies known to us and very comfortable to us. So JavaScript basically is a scripting language, and it's more or less like the mechanism of every website, front end, back end. It's what keeps it going. And with that, I would pop up my VS Code. You can use any IDE if here. So I'll open a new tab, and I'll prepare a code and I'll provide the code to you guys on my GitHub. So you can code along if you have like multiple screens. You can also watch as I code, then I would provide you the link to the repo and you go to what I've done, basically. So first off, I'm going to create a folder, and this is the folder I'll be working with. We're doing all our little projects. JS class. I'll publish open with my JS code. So I'm going to create an index.html file, basically, so we can interact with what we are doing on our Chrome or Safari or whatever browser is. Let's go and create index.html file. I'm also going to create app.js. So this is where all our JavaScript code go. I remember if at any point you don't understand what I'm doing, just kindly leave it out and I'll explain it to you guys.
Hello, can anybody hear me?
I can
Yeah,
hear you. I think the tutor not here now. I don't know what
we
happened.
can hear you.
Okay, because I actually quit the class and then I came back in. I was thinking
Oh,
probably I was having some issues.
yeah, just give me a second to land. Should be perfect. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, sir, I go back for something. So now that we are here, so you guys can see my screen. So first off, we'll create the first project we'll be doing is a rabbit
We can't
to
see your
human.
screen though. We can't. Okay, we are seeing it now. We are seeing it now.
You can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see
Release,
it
why you
now.
right?
We can see it now.
Wow.
Wait, who's this? Who's this? Who's in this rubbish on the screen? Please stop a
Release, right?
beg. I think
My bad.
Okay,
I
so
didn't
first,
notice.
the first project we'll be using. Sorry, I'm going to miss you guys for now because I'm getting distracted. So I'll miss you guys later on. But if you have any questions, like I can pop it on the comment section. So basically we're reading projects today, and along the line I'll explain some things to you guys. So the first thing we are going to do is to connect our JavaScript to our HTML. So you can simply do that by running your scripts here on your body. It's 1 minute to load. Let's load the rest of this. So our first project is converting human age to rabbit age. So this is the first thing we are building today. And basically, I'm going to research the difference between a human age and the rabbit age is 5 years. So if, let's say for instance, a human is 5 years, then in the rabbit's world, the rabbit is, the equivalent is 5 years. So for each year in human world is 5 years in the rabbit's world. So we are going to build a basic function that converts human age to rabbit age. And basically that's all to it. And I'm sure you guys are conversant with the function because there are two ways to create a function. You can use the const key and say, let's say convert to rabbit age. Then this is equals to an arrow function. And this is where all the magic happens. Either ways, you can say function key, then convert to rabbit age. Then we'll do this. These are the two basic ways to create a function. Personally, I prefer using this method, but everything is based on preference. You can choose whatever method is most suitable to you. Everything works the same. So for illustration purpose, I'll use the two of them and I'll illustrate in both ways. But let's start with the const keys. I'll comment this one out. So this is a function that is going to accept a human age, and after accepting this human age, it's going to convert it to a rabbit age. So for here, we're going to add the parameter human age. So when we call this function, we have to pass human age to it, and I'll illustrate it once we are done. Now we have to get the basics of what we're trying to do. So like I said earlier, human age is equivalent, like like 1 year of human age is equivalent to 5 years in rabbit age. So to do this, we have to multiply human age by 5. That's basically it. So we can say const rabbit age is equals to human that is human age multiplied by 5. Basically, this is all what we need to do. So I'm multiplying the human age by 5, and then we return rabbit age. So what this function does basically is collecting the human age you are passing, multiplies by 5, then return the new human age. And to test, this is just a simple function that does this basically. So to test this, we are going to connect it to our HTML file and illustrate it in the web, so to see. So there are two ways of connecting your JavaScript to your HTML. You can either do it in the head by saying your scripts, with the source, then you link it, and you add your app.js here, and you press defer. So what this defer does is, because ordinarily, if you are linking your JavaScript, it's just from top to bottom, ticket. And what you see on most websites is that your script tag is usually below the body, as they place it here, like the last tag on your body. So it reads your JavaScript file at the last tag. But and if you are doing this, you don't need to add the word defer. You can just connect it like this. It was the same way. But if you're adding your JavaScript to the head tag, then you need to put defer, meaning read the script alongside other scripts on the head tag. That's what it is. So you can do this either ways, or you put your script tag at the last line above the closing element of your body. So now that I've linked it, let's test our code. So for this example now, we are going to say const human age, because we use human age is equals to prompts. So what prompts basically does is it alerts the user like a notification on your Chrome, and see it out now. And it allows you to enter a particular input, be it numbers or whatever the question is. So what we'll do now, ask the question here, how old are you? Then let's say const rabbit age is equals to convert to rabbit age. They are going to pass the human age to it. So these two consts I created, the first one collects the age from the browser. Then this second, line 8, basically converts the age to rabbit age. So then we're going to alert the user with the word keyword alert and say a human age here is roughly equivalent to a rabbit here. So what I did basically now is I'm creating a function that collects human age and multiplied human age by 5, because in human terms, 1 year is equivalent to 5 years. Then I'm returning the rabbit age. Then line 7, I'm asking the user, how old are you? How old are you? Let's put that here. Then the rabbit age is converting it basically. Then we'll show the user this. So let's test it out. Let's run on that server. Open the server. So the first thing we see here is how old are you? So let's assume I'm 50 years old. I'll enter 50 and I'll press OK. Then I get an alert that a 50-year-old is roughly equivalent to 250-year-old in rabbit age. Let's adjust that here in rabbit age. So let's try that again. If I refresh the page, I'm supposed to get the alert again. So this, how old are you? Let's say 12. If I press OK, it automatically converts the 12 to rabbit age by multiplying 12 by 6 by 5. If you multiply 12 by 5, you get 60. So a 12-year-old is roughly equivalent to a 60-year-old in rabbit age. So basically, we created a function that accepts a human age, convert that human age to rabbit age, then we show the user what it means in rabbit age. I'll mute the mic now, and if anybody has any question or what I don't understand, kindly let me know. Any questions? You can put up your hands there.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, Abdulrazak.
I think a prompt, if you enter anything in prompt, it will take it as string. So do we
I
need
don't hear you
number
clearly.
function? But that, prompt function, that function.
You're not loud enough.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can better now.
Yeah. I think the prompt function, I thought that it always takes string. So the last time we worked on from Mr. Toshuk, we have to convert it through number function like that, something like that.
Okay, so the question is, you thought const always take strings, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, the word const is like coding a variable or a name, because const, I'll start from the top. If you want to
Okay.
name like a variable, you can use let, var, or const. So const basically is just an avenue to code to name your variable. Now, what we've done here now is creating a function. In creating a function, you can accept more than one attribute, and I will illustrate that moving forward. Do you understand? But for this simple task now, you can enter anything here, be it a string, a number, an array, a function itself, an object. You can practically enter anything here. Do you understand? So what I did here, or what is in between the brackets, is telling the function that, okay, you are expecting to get this particular thing. Do you understand? So give way for this to come, and if you come, it's like this. Because now, let's say I created this function now. I don't know what the human is going to be. Do you understand? But the way I made it in a way that, okay, I'm expecting a human age, and I'm going to work with this human age. So this particular human age now, in our own term now, is a number. But in a much wider scope, you can use a string, a number, a boolean, an object, an array. It does not really hold a restriction to one particular data type. You can use different data type. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Abdul, hello, Abdul.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is, the prompt function
Okay.
always return a string, even if it's a number that you enter. Now, how are you
Okay.
able to multiply a string with a number inside that function without
Converting it.
implicitly doing convert? Yes, that's exactly the question he's
Okay.
asking. Mm.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. You're correct. A prompt returns a string. In this case, I didn't convert because of the fact that I don't want to go too deep into converting. Do you understand? Um, Basically, what JavaScript did was just to infer it. So it went with go enter the number basically. So you read it as 5. So if I enter 12 now, what it will hold is 12. So 12 by 12 is 12 by 5 is going to give you 60, regardless of if the type is string or not. But what JavaScript is reading now basically is the value I entered. And if you want to play it more safe, I don't want to elaborate on it because it's supposed to be simple. If you want to make it more safe, there are two ways to convert to a number. The most easiest and simplest way is to put a plus sign here. So if you do this, automatically anything that comes with the human age becomes a number. Do you understand? If you add the plus behind the value, anything that comes becomes a number. Other thing we can do now is to use the pass integer, pass int. So this basically also converts a value to a number. So there are two ways of doing that. Either you add the simplest and easiest way, you just put that plus sign behind it, and automatically it converts it to a number. Or you can pass the integer, making it okay. Telling JavaScript that this implicitly I'm passing a number. Exactly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sure.
Is there a reason you use const instead of let or var?
Okay. Yes, there's a reason I use const, and more generically, if there isn't, because there's var, and I will explain it to us, and there's let, and there's const. Now, in modern world, now we don't use var anymore, and I think the reason is because var is a weak variable holder, and I'll say it to you. I'll show it to you now. So let's say, who asked that question now? What's your name? Hello, man.
Rema.
So let's say var name is equals to Rema. So now we are saying there's a name on this particular file, and that name is Rema. I can still come and say var name is equals to let's say Abdul, my name. Ordinarily, it's not supposed to work because you're not supposed to have the same type of variable with the same name. You have name, you have name. So if I'm calling now, which name am I going to answer? Let's say, let's console log it then. Let's console log name, and let's see which one. Or can anybody guess now which one comes first? Can anybody guess which one comes first? If I console log, which one is this one?
Abdul.
Rema.
Abdul comes in.
Rema comes first.
Abdul, the most recent one comes first.
Exactly, because code reads from top to bottom. So if the code is reading, it reads from line 1 till line 20. So now the latest declaration of name is Abdul. So if I run this now on the console, and let's test it out. Let me comment this one out so you can get that alert. Let's test it now. So if I check my console, let me minimize this. Let me cancel this. So you see Abdul on my console based on the fact that Abdul came last. But this is not supposed to be, because in a real world situation, this would cause like fatal error or bug. Because for instance, now I have a name, I want it to be Rema, not Abdul. I should not be able to declare that name as Abdul again. It should be just normal Rema and one name. And that's where they call val a very weak variable holder. Now let's try the same thing now for let's. Let's convert this to let's. Let's and let's. So if you notice now, it's showing an error, and if you over it, you say cannot be declared block scope variable as name, and same thing happens here. And this is basically because we already declared name here. You can't come and declare name again. It shows an error. So let and const are more stable than var. Now the reason why you see const out there a lot is because it is constant. It's constant, it's not changing. In some cases, you can change the variable in let. I can make a function now that accepts name as Rema. Then furthermore, I'll say, okay, this name now changes from Rema to Abdul. Do you understand? And I'll illustrate that forward. But just give us a picture. Using in our next project, I'll show you how I use let and how I use const. Do you understand? But for let and const now, they are more rigid. They don't allow this kind of mistakes. So you can't use let to declare the same name you declared before. If I try that with const, I also get the same error.
I actually don't get it, because it's like always in theory when they say const and let are better, but then in practical, I don't see how that plays out. Because if you did the same thing you did for var and you did it for let.
Okay, go on. See if I can see it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So you said do the same thing for var and this for let.
Oh no, continue what you're doing. I'm trying to follow.
Basically, const are variable holders, but var is a more weaker variable holder because it allows you to declare the same name you declared before. Let and const are actually different because they are more rigid. And the reason you see const more often is because const is constant. You don't plan on changing it. Let can be changed. You can change the variable inside let. You can maneuver it. You can run a function that changes the value, and I'll illustrate that to us later on in the class. But the more reason you see const is because const is constant, and you don't have plans on changing it forward. Is that clear?
If you try running this const name that you did, will it work?
Let's try it. Let's see if it counts. Did I say const?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
The const that you did twice with the different names, will it work if you try to run it? Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, I
there's
think
an
it's frozen. Yeah, it's very frozen. Give him a sec.
Please, does anyone know how you wrote that alert from thing inside the alert curly braces? No, bracket.
Hello. Yeah, what is doing there? Using what is called template reiterer. Using a backtick. Backtick is the key before one on your keyboard. It's not using a single quotes. It's a backtick. So that is able to allow you to put a placeholder inside that string so they can replace it with those variables.
Okay, so for the backtick, is it each word that uses the backtick? Because I'll say something like I don't know if it's asterisk in between the year old is roughly.
Okay, no. You see, what's happening is that there are 3 ways you can define a string: with double quotes, with a single quote, and with a backtick. Now, the backtick gives you another extra capability in that you can put placeholders within that string so that you can replace them with variables. And when you are putting the placeholder, you put them with a $sign and then inside followed by open and closing braces so that you can put the variable name inside that braces. So when the JavaScript engine execute that code, it replaces that variable with the value of that variable. That can only happen in a string created with a backtick. But if you don't want to do that, you have to do a concatenation with a normal either double quote or single quote string. I don't know whether you understand.
Okay, so either the backtick or use the either the single or double string for each of the words.
If you are using single and double quote, you cannot place a variable inside it because you just interpret it the way it is. It will not replace it with the value of the variable. You understand me? So if you want to use that, you have to do a concatenation. For example, if you want to say, my name is, you understand me? You want to say my name is whatever your name is, and you put a variable within a double or single quote string. When the engine reads that, because you are using double quote or single quote, he will not replace that variable you put inside with your actual name. He will just read it, my name is whatever name of the variable, whatever name you use in declaring that variable. But if you are using single backtick to create that string, you understand me? Now, it gives you an option or a feature whereby you can put a placeholder. When I mean placeholder are defined with a $sign followed by open and closing braces. You can put it inside that string and then put a variable that you want to be replaced with its value within the opening and closing braces. So that when the engine interprets that statement you are writing, he will now fetch the value of that variable and replace it with that placeholder, inside that placeholder. You understand me? And that's why it will now say your name is whatever your name is, and that is what is going to be consoled out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Then for Rema that is asking for the var and let and const, that they only talk about it in theory. Yeah, there's actually, I don't know whether I can talk on that, whether I'm permitted to talk on that.
Yeah, if you actually have the knowledge, you should.
Yeah, you see what var does. There are 2 things. There are two drawbacks that var has. One is that when you declare a variable with a var, for example, you say var name is equal to Rema. Are you with me? That is a variable you have declared. Now, you are not supposed to declare that same variable again, but rather what you can do is to reassign another name into that name variable. But var will allow you to do it a second time. You can also, on the second line, you now do var name again. Even if you are not assigning the same name rema, you can even assign a different name to it. But because it's the same variable and you are repeating the declaration twice, var will not frown over it. It will run. And at long run, that can cause a bug in your program. You will not be able to discover where the problem is coming from because you have already declared a name and assigned rema to it. Now, it's allowing you to declare the same name again and assigning another name to it. It's not supposed to allow you to use var again on the second line, but var will allow you to do that. But when you use let, if you declare a name, let name is equal to rema, and you come down to the next line and say let again name is equal to rema or something else, that is an error. The engine will not allow you, will give you an error when you run that, because he knows that variables cannot be declared twice, but rather you can assign a new value to the same variable. So that is, it catches it before. That's why when he highlighted or put his cursor on that, the Visual Studio Code gave him that an error, that is going to result into an error. It's for you to catch it. And the same thing, if you do this, of course, the const is a constant. Once you declare it, you cannot reassign it with a new value. For example, you can say const name is rema, and then you come again and say, in fact, if you want to say const again, that's double repetition again, which will not happen. But even if you say name is equal to another name, because you really initially declared it as a constant, it will not allow you to reassign another name to that same variable. But when it comes to functions, as he did there, declaring a function with a constant, that's a different ballgame entirely. Because a function does not actually hold the function, the variable, the name of the function does not actually hold the content of the function, but rather it holds what is called a reference, a pointer to where the function is stored. You understand me? And that is what you cannot change, or you can change the content of the function. Changing the content of the function is not the same thing as changing the reference that points to where the function is stored. The second problem that var has is this. I think when we come to that, he's going to explain that to us. What we call scope, visibility, where the variable is visible. var has what is called a global scope. You can declare var in a global place and then later change it in a place where you're not supposed to change it because it's visible in that place. But if it is let or constant, let has what is called functional scope. So it allows you to declare the same variable in different scope because each scope is independent of the other. I think that's to the best of my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chima.
That's a very good explanation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shima. It's a great one you've just done. Enlightening me more on var so much. I'm really grateful.
You're welcome.
Well, Chima, I appreciate that. Who is here now? Who is here in the whiteboard? Israel, can you hear me? Israel, can you hear me? So I left for a minute. My PC crashed because I had too much stuff running in the background. Israel, can you hear me?
Yes.
First of all, I need to collect the hosts. Okay, you are the host currently. Can you transfer the host back to me? So click on my name and make me host.
I'm doing that now.
Yeah,
I've done that now.
fair enough. Thank you very much. So back to where we were. I apologize sincerely for, my PC crashed. And I'll go back to share my screen and continue forward stuff. So I listened on to what Chima said, and he did beautifully well explaining what const, let, and var is. And there's little or nothing to add to what he has said, basically. I'll illustrate it further with the use of let and const. But I want you guys to know what yourself with var. Just know it for knowing sake. But in the real world scenario, you don't use var anymore. See that you see const or use let. And if you're using let, you are using let inside a block scope. Do you understand? And I'll illustrate that to us in our next project. But so far, so good with what I've done. Is there anything you guys don't understand? I need more explanation. If there isn't, then I'll move on to our next project.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Back to the prompt, what's it called? I don't think I understand it because I just tried it now and prompt is returning a string. How is it like changing to integer automatically?
You are speaking louder. Come again, please.
We didn't hear you. Your voice is muffled.
Sorry, can you hear me like this?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. The prompt, the prompt. I just tried it now, and even though I entered the number, it returned the string for me. Where now that I tried it.
Yes.
So when when you run the code in the browser, you enter the number, and the number was like it was changed automatically to a number. Like it didn't act as a string; it acted as a number. How?
Okay. So there's something they call type inversion and type conversion in JavaScript. Okay, so let me just break it down to you guys. And let's illustrate it. And I'll use this as an example. So let me enter this prompt back and say now I'll do console.log. Then I'll say type of. So if you're saying type of, you are asking JavaScript to tell the type of data type. So I'm console.logging the type of data type human needs as. So let's rerun the script again. So now we are saying how old are you? Let's enter 12. Let's say 20. It gives us slowly. Hold on a minute. Let's see. 20. Now let's check our console. If you see our console now, it's telling us the type is string. But what I entered is what? A number. Now, if you are collecting anything from the browser, JavaScript collects it as a string. Now it's left to us to convert it to a number. And I explained how we can convert it using the plus sign or using the pass integer. So you're passing it to an integer. What JavaScript does, and this is why there's TypeScript, but I won't go deep into that because with TypeScript you can explicitly say, okay, this is the type of data I'm expecting, and you can't enter anything other than that. Do you understand? But for JavaScript, you can actually manipulate your data. Now, let's illustrate that again. So if I enter 5 here, so this is a string 5. Let's consider 5 a string. Then let's say multiply by 5 a number. What do you guys expect the answer will be now? Can anybody throw a guess what the answer will be?
5.
55.
5. Can anybody
25.
I think
25.
Is that
55.
5 times 5.
25.
Yeah, 25.
25. So I'm getting 55. I'm getting 55.
It's 25. It's 25 because
5.
Let's see.
is that the multiplication operator?
Yeah, that's a string.
Is that a
Now we are seeing 25 instead of what? Exactly. So basically what happens here is that automatically there's a type conversion in JavaScript. Reason is you are adding or multiplying a string with a number. So basically what happens behind the scenes, it converts everything down to a number. That's why you were able to multiply successfully the string you collected from the browser with a number and it goes into an error. Do you understand? Because behind the scene now, if you are doing this, JavaScript automatically converts the type for you. Do you understand? So
no, I do not.
So Abdul, can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you.
And so the plus sign, what the plus sign does is concatenate then both values, right? Puts them together. Yeah, if you're using a plus sign, so
let's do this. Hold on. Let's do this easily. Now notice I didn't add the plus sign added it behind. Just notice how I placed it down. This is how I placed the plus sign. Do you understand? I didn't place it in front of human age. I place it behind, close to human age. So if I do this basic, I've converted it to a number. Now, if you want to concatenate, you're going to do this, then add the plus. Okay, let's concatenate here. Let's do this. So let me show you the difference between defining a type and concatenating. So let's change this to string. So this is a string now. Yeah. So I can say A, B, C. If I come here and put plus and put A, B, C again, then now I've concatenated. Notice how I use my plus here. Do you understand? Now, notice how I use my plus here. I'm using it behind human age. So this is converting to number and this is concatenating. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Go on ahead.
I have a question, please.
Sorry, you are saying behind, but that is in front of human age now.
It depends on how you say it. To me, everything here is in front. Like if you are coming like this is in front. Anything here is behind. So everything
you did not quite get my point. I wasn't talking about that. So I was referring to the console log you did at the bottom, the 5 in a string multiplied by 5. So I'm saying if you were to change that, swap the multiplication operator to an addition operator, so what it does is it concatenates the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was what I was on about. So
Okay,
JavaScript understands that the multiplication this thing is actually supposed to be performed on numbers instead of strings.
You are quite correct. And that's the type conversion comes in. Is that clear?
Thank you.
No, it's not clear.
Right.
Are you okay now that you have put this plus now? What is going to be the answer for string 5 plus number 5? What is going to be the answer?
Take a guess.
55.
From the word, wait, no much answer. Just her. Now, notice what we did here. We concatenated here. Yeah. So take a guess what happened here.
I'm guessing it's going to give us 5, 5.
Okay. Now let's take it out. It's easy. Let's say 20. Let's go beyond that. Yeah, correct. 5, 5. Based on the fact that it's concatenated. So it took the 5 that is string and matched it with the number that is 5 and gave us 5, 5. But if you are performing a multiplication, automatically numbers can multiply with alphabets. So behind the root, JavaScript was converted for you. Do you understand?
Okay, so it's going to be an automatic conversion when it's multiplication.
Yes. But if you're adding your conversion.
Implicit conversion.
Abdul.
Yes.
Abdul, sorry, sir. Can I chip in something? I think it's gonna make it clear for them. Understand?
But hold on. Because if you go on, chill. If we go on while leave here, just let's save our questions for later and chip in for later. Let me treat the next because we have been on one project since. Is that fair?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you very much. So for the next one we'll do now, we are converting body mass index. So basically what this does is you are checking if somebody is overweighted, underweighted, obese, or has normal weight. Now, if you see somebody that is weighing 120 kg or 150 kg, you might possibly say, okay, this person is overweighted. But what metrics are you using? So for our next project now, we'll be creating a function that checks if somebody is overweighted, underweighted, obese, or normal weight. So I'll leave this here and I'll provide this code to us with GitHub. I'll share you guys the link on the backend channel. So you can go to the store and everything we've done, basically. So for this next one, let's say function to convert, to calculate the BMI. So BMI is body mass index. So let's use const here. So I'll use function here. We can use either way. So let's say our function is calculate BMI is this. So first things first now, what we need to note is, and I'll bring us to a point where you should have an idea of what pseudocode is. Now to calculate BMI, there's a formula for it. So the formula is weight divided by, let me put it here. So the formula for it is the weight divided by height times height. So this is the formula basically to calculate BMI. But we have to do certain conversion before going on. Now you have to convert your height, because if you're asking your user for height, automatically they give you in meters. So first things first, you have to convert your height to centimeters. And to convert your height to centimeters, you have to first what? Who can give me the formula to convert height? Anybody? Formula to convert height from meter to centimeter. Who can? Okay.
Multiply by 100.
Yeah, multiply or divide by. If you are converting to centimeter, you divide by. Converting to meter,
multiply by 100. Multiply by 100.
Is
Centimeters.
centimeters smaller than meters?
Centimeters is divide. Then if you are converting to meters, multiply. So now you are converting to centimeters.
If you are given a meter and you want to change to centimeter, you multiply by 100.
Yeah, Chima is correct.
Let's check it out. What I have here is converting meters to centimeter.
Converting meters to centimeters, we multiply by 100 now.
Okay, multiply by 100. Fair enough.
Yeah, because meters is way smaller than centimeters. It makes sense.
What?
Yeah. We'll multiply by 100.
Sorry, meters is not smaller than centimeters, please.
I'm talking about the number, I'm not talking about size.
Yes.
I mean in number, it's much smaller. So yeah, you have 2 meters. 2 meters, we actually know 2 meters is bigger than centimeter. But then in number, 2 meters to centimeter is like 200 centimeters.
Okay,
so 2 is actually smaller.
Now.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. So basically now we have our 2 things to work with. We've converted this is the formula for our body mass index. So you multiply the weight by the height. Then this is how to convert our height to centimeter. So now what we need is to collect the height and the weight from the user. So we are accepting 2 parameters with this function, the weight and then the height. So that is 2 parameters we are accepting. Let's make this lowercase. So now what do we do with this? Now we have our formula up, and we have first things first, we need to convert our height. So we say once we get the height, let's say height is equals to height multiplied by 100. So our height is holding this. Then first off, let's say let BMI equals to, then our formula weight divided by weight height times height. So these are the 2 things we need basically to convert the weight and height of the chair. So what we're going to do now, because if you notice this BMIs, the color is different from what we have here. If you notice, and because it's left dormant, we're not using it. So we return BMI. So now we can say, okay, this function has a return value, and anything we calculate now gives us like what we need basically. So for here, let's now illustrate it with our this. So let's calculate if our BMI is lesser than 185.5. We say we'll allow the user that you are underweight. Let's say you are underweight. Now there's an else if. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the else if and if statements. So let's say if is greater or equals to 185.5, And so this is like the AND operator, and BMI is lesser than 250. Then we'll say this. We'll say alert, you are normal wicked. Then let's make another condition, else if BMI is greater or equals to and lesser than 300. Let's say alert, overweight, you are overweight. Then lastly, we say else. So anything above or that is not in this scope, you just tell the user alert you this. Let's close this and let's do this. With this one. Yeah, so basically now let's go from the top, carry the code. Let me explain it to you now. So this function basically we are collecting two attributes, the weight of the human and the height of the human. And first off, what we do is converting the height to centimeters. Then what we do next is multiplying that value. That's like height squared. So height times height. Then weight divided by height. Now we return the BMI. So this is a condition to check. And this condition basically returns, okay, if the BMI is lesser than 185.5, this person is underweighted, so it does not have much weight. Else, if the person is greater or equals to 185, but not above 250, so it's below 250, but within the range of 185.5 to 250, person is normal weighted. Else, if it's above 250, but below 300, so it's within 250 and 300, the person is underweighted. If it's above 300 to 1 million, then practically the person is obese. Now, this is a function to check, and this is a condition to alert. So now let's go back to let me comment this out because it keeps asking us. Okay. I'll comment this out, then out. So let's run this now. Let's run some code. How would I use this? Let me see. I'm still prompting this. Let me also comment this out. In fact, I'll comment everything out so it doesn't cause an issue. So we are left with only this to deal with. Let's check again. So let's say because we have created a function now. So let's try and work with it to interact with the browser. So let's say height or width equals to, we prompt the user. We prompt the user to enter what's your height, what's your height. So whatever value this holds now is holding in let. So let's say let's height also holds a prompt saying what's your height. Nice. So basically now we have this as a collection base for our values we need. So what do we do next now? We say let BMI equals calculate BMI. Then what do we do? Pass the weight and pass the height. Then we console log. We console the log to BMI. Now we're having this as a base to collect and the value will go show on our console. So let's go back to our browser and check. So what's your height? So let's say in meter, let's say 17. Then what's your weight? Let me refresh this. Let me refresh this. Let's start again. So what's your weight? Height? Let's say 7.
You are having two instructions in the prompt.
You said?
You are having the same height in the instruction for the prompt. Check.
That's why I was wondering why.
It's the one on top that's supposed to be weight.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Let's grade this. What's your weight? Let's say I weigh 70 kg. And what's your height? Let's say 7 meters. I'm 6 feet. Let's say 6 feet. Let's say. Now we've calculated and give us 0.0000, which means we are underweighted. Now let's try and enter a ridiculous value. Let's see what we have. So our weight, let's say we are 200 kg. And for our height, let's say we are, let's say 200. Let's check. We are still underweight. Okay, I can see the error now. So basically, here instead of converting to centimeters, let's flip it back. Because here we are multiplying by 100. Let's flip it back and divide it by 100. So now I'm converting from centimeters to meters. I think it will be easier that way. Let's put this back to 16.5. This is about
Sorry,
20.
I have something to say.
Hold on, if I'm done, you see what I have to say. Just kill a minute. Is that fair?
Okay.
Okay, so let's try it again now. So the weight is 67, height is 173, underweight. Okay. So now the value here is 2.23. And if we use it to cross-check this attributes here, okay, let's put it back to this. Notice that. Let's go again. Okay. Weight 67, height, let's see, 180. Now the BMI is 20.6. And if you check our conditions, we should check now. We're saying if it's within the range of 18.5 to 25, you are normal weighted. So let's test another incident. Let's give a more higher value. Let's say I'm weighing 120 and my height is 250. If you calculate 19.2, you are normal weighted. Now let's give a higher ratio of weight and lower ratio of height. Let's see what we have. So let me say I'm 200. And for our height, we have, let's say 80. If you check, our BMI is 312.4, which is extremely above 30. So I'm overweighted. So basically, this is just a function that collects weight and height, converts the height from centimeter to meter. The initial mistake I made was converting to centimeter, but now converting from centimeter to meter, so we are dividing by 100. Then we have a condition that checks the BMI. So the BMI is lesser than 18.5, you're underweighted. If it's within 18.5 to 25, you're normal weighted. If it's between 25 to 30, you're overweighted. And if it's above 30, you're obese. So somebody has a question, you can ask me now. What a question?
I do.
My question is there any need for, can't I just write a program that will just probably run it from scratch, like run it from centimeters, instead of me trying to convert from
You're not speaking like
centimeters? What?
You're not speaking like that. I can't hear you clearly.
Okay, I said, is it not possible for me to just write a code whereby the person will just put his height in centimeters rather than having to convert from meters to centimeters or from centimeters to meters?
Okay, so basically, yes, it's possible to do that. Yeah, but basically, the formula for this particular calculation, because everything was a formula, I noticed we also did the weight divided by height times height. That's the formula to get the BMI. But to be accurate, yeah, you have to have your weight in centimeters. Do you understand? So what happens is if you provide a value like that's above a certain range, then you don't hit the limit particularly. Do you understand? So in a more like robust system, you're going to indicate it in the bracket. Let's say it's the website now, you're going to put it in bracket, weight in centimeters. So the user knows, okay, I'm entering my weight in centimeters. So once he enters it, behind the scene, you're converting it to meters, then you're working with it. You get?
Okay.
Please, just to confirm, that means the height that they're putting in, is it in centimeter or be in meters?
The what?
The height that they are putting in the prompt, is it in centimeters or meters?
The height I'm putting in front is in centimeters, but what the system is working with is meters. Do you get?
Please, can I see the code again?
Yeah, you can. Let me minimize this. Let me minimize this. So let me explain it again. So we have a function that receives two attributes, or two properties, the weight and the height. So if we enter height now, let's say our height is 173 centimeters, because that's how it is centimeters. Calculating meters, you can say maybe 6 meters, 7 meters tall. But in centimeters, it's way larger. Numbers are way larger. So it's like 173, 180, 190. That kind of thing. So to get like accuracy, because the BMI actually needs tiny numbers. So imagine I'm putting 173 here times 173, then I'm having like an outrageous value. Then if I'm divided by the weight, then you won't really get the balance. Do you understand? So first off, you have to convert the weight by dividing by 100. So after converting the height divided by 100, then you multiply it in both ways. So like height square. So it will be weight divided by height, multiplied by height, then you get your BMI. And with that
Just a
BMI now, you said?
A question.
Yeah, shoot.
So this second let BMI equal calculate BMI that we wrote outside of the function, is it compulsory? Like if we had just console logged calculate BMI, we will still get our answer.
Yes, you can. So let's illustrate that. Why I did this is just to make the code more readable, because some people can't read like outrightly like that. You can also do this. Let's cut it. Let's paste it here. And you get the same result. Do you understand? But for readability's sake, you can actually spread out the code. And this is more advisable, because in instance like this now, it's not advisable because you have console log and you have a function. Instead of function in a variable, then console that variable. It's readable in that manner. Do you understand? But if you run this,
Okay, because I was seeing two let BMI, and initially you said we shouldn't use let and the name of the kidney twice. So I was seeing
now,
it that.
So let's check it out now. Yeah. So this let BMI I proposed here or declared here is inside the scope, inside the function, is in a block. So whatever happens here, if you notice there's an opening block and there's a closing block here. Whatever happens here stays inside here, especially if you're naming your variable. So if I can, let's say const trauma now or rema, yes, is equals to rema. Now we have this out inside a block. I can still come outside here and see this. Rema is equals to rema. I don't get an error. Do you know why? Because I have a function, and that function, anything that happens inside stays inside. Like it does not affect what happens outside the function. So two names now can coexist. Even though I put this one, let's say I put this one down now. Okay, let's just like that. As it stands like this now, everything goes well because it reads from top to bottom. And this function is a block. Anything that happens here now, like it's inside this place. Now let's flip it a bit now. Let me bring this one up. Let's see what happens. Still the same thing, but there's a twist to it now. I declared this globally, meaning I can use this particular term anywhere in a function. Do you understand? So let's say I out this and I consider grammar. What do you think will happen now? What do you think will be the console? Can anybody tell me what will be the console? Mind you, this one is out. It's just this.
It will be Rema.
Let's check it out. Let's see 20. Now Rema is it. Let me show you guys another thing now. So let me come back and see Rema. Let's see from Rema to let's see Uzo. So let's consider Rema now. So what do you think will happen? What will be in the console? Who knows? Who can guess what will be the console?
So Uzo. So
Is that Rema?
Uzo
No.
now.
Am I hearing Uzo? Am I hearing Rema? What am I hearing?
yeah,
Uzo,
You see,
Uzo.
Uzo.
The local scope.
to beat anybody for here. He said
It should
I
be
said it's the
Uzo.
local
Yes, it's
scope.
Uzo.
Uzo will be okay. Uzo. So let's check it out.
Uzo.
So let's say 20, we get Uzo. And specifically why? Because this, it was from top to bottom. And aside that, this is the latest declaration. And this console log happens to what be inside. Now there's another flip case now. Let me move this console log down. Now tell me what will be the latest console log.
That will be
Rema.
Rema.
Rema, nice, beautiful. I like this. So basically now, if you notice, it's what they call global declaration. So this Rema now is declared globally. Anybody can use it. Even those inside a function, those outside the function can use it. Yeah. But once you declare a value inside a function, it basically plays its role outside that function, unless you return it as a value. Do you understand? But there's a global declaration and there's a block declaration and there's also a scope declaration. It should be, you guys will have like further explanations moving forward. But I want you guys to get the picture. You can declare a value globally. Now let's say I come again and say const Rema. Let's see const Rema. Immediately I get an error because I can't use, like, I can't declare it again. I've already declared it here. But I'm not getting an error here. Why? Because I'm declaring it inside the scope. So you can actually use your let inside the scope, also use your let outside the scope. It doesn't change anything. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
So I'm supposed to stop by 1 o'clock, but for you, I'll do one more project first, and then I'll take your questions, and we'll end the class there. Is that right? Is that right?
Not sure, it's okay.
Okay, so I'll comment all this out, so we don't get interference with our new project. So for this last project, we're building guess the number. This is practically very easy, and what it entails is you need to collect a value from the user, and that value, check if the value is what the system proposed. Now, what I advise us to do is, if you get, okay, now the challenge is create a function that checks if the user guessed a number correctly. Now, these are next challenge. These are our next projects. But in doing this, we have to sit down and think, okay, what does it entails to create a function that checks this? And I want this to be very interactive. Anybody has an idea what I need to do to make this possible? I'll take your hands up. If you have an idea, just raise up your hand then. Let's discuss it. Anybody? Yeah,
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I think first, you said you should guess a number to check if a user gets a number correctly. First of all, we have to set out rules, which numbers are correct and which numbers are not correct.
Beautiful. Go on.
And then after that,
Yes.
we use the if and else if keywords.
Okay.
Take for instance, let us say first, if I'm to do this, I will say something like I will put an array of
Okay.
numbers, and
Okay.
then I will say if the user,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, okay, I will say if the user states certain number, or sorry, if the user states any of this number, alert,
Okay.
you've guessed the number correctly.
Okay.
Else, if the user doesn't state any of these stated numbers, you alert the user guessed incorrectly. I don't know if that's
Perfect. Yeah,
work.
that makes sense. That makes sense. I'll take another. Anybody has a different approach to this?
Sorry, what was the
Yeah.
question now? I missed the question.
We have to create a function that checks if a user entered a correct number. So the user is guessing the number. So we have to create a function that check if the number gets the number correctly.
Okay, so are you going to, is it a single number you are testing against?
Yes, in this case, a single number.
So Abdul, and
Yeah.
what I think, first of all, we have to provide a range. Is it
Okay.
guessing from 1 to 10 or from 1 to 100 or whatever? So
Perfect.
we'll get that down. And then, I think we would achieve that with the math.random method. But
Perfect.
when you check, if you check, the math.random, it does not provide an integer, provides
Yes.
more like a decimal. So we'll have
Yes.
to use another method
Yes.
to so we could get a value like 1 instead of 1 dot something.
The whole number. I
So
understand.
yeah, a whole number. Yeah.
Yes.
So get that, and then we can use if statement to check if what a user. I think this is a little fancy or fancier. So we could use an if statement to check if user input is a number
Yes.
or not. So if it's not a
Yes.
number, gives a message, displays a message, and what we do is to use the pass int you showed earlier, so that
Yes.
to force the conversion, so it doesn't
Yes.
recognize the user input as a string, so
Yes.
it recognizes it as a number.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Vinga, I'll take you lastly, then we'll go on to implement everything everybody has said. Vinga, hi.
Okay. Okay. I don't know the amount of numbers you are going to put inside the array, but what I think is that if you are using mass.random and a
Yes.
user has to guess a number, I think we can use something like find. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say here. We can use since it's an input, right? So if a user inputs a number there, it should find the number from the list of arrays, and this should serve like a search method. And if you are implementing if and else statement also, I think we should be able to get our result from if and else statement also.
Beautiful. So everybody has said like extremely beautiful things, and I appreciate everybody that like give an input. So from this now, we all have like an overview of what we need to do. First things first, we have to have like the numbers we want the user to guess, and the most memorable or what approach I would take basically is to generate a random number. That's like the first thing. So I would walk us through the process, and this is what they call pseudo coding. So pseudo coding, once you see a challenge or a question or a project you want to do, you have to break it down into tiny bits, then solve those tiny bits. Do you understand? Now let's go. The first thing that we need to do is to generate a random number. Then after generating a random number, what do we do next? We have to create a function that checks Now, he checked for two things because I love what was it Daniel said, that we have to check if the user enters like a alphabet or a string or something that's not a number. You have to say, okay, you have entered something wrongly. Please enter a valid number. That's beautiful. So we have to create a function that checks if the user gets a number correctly. Yes. We also have to check if the user entered a number. Now, after that, then we have to write our logic, that the if and else and whatnot. But basically, let's do this three first. So the first three now to generate a random number. Let's do a function. So a function, and let's say get random number. Is that correctly? Now, to get a random number, we need a minimum value and a maximum value. Like rightly said, are we guessing from 1 to 1,000, from 1 to 1 million, from 100 to... So to make it, I think, let's do 1 to 100. Let's do 1 to 50. 1 to 50 is fair. So let's say minimum and maximum. So we have two properties we need to get. We need a minimum number and a maximum number. So what I'll do now is to return math.random. This particular method, math.random, generates a random number. Now, this number, okay, let me illustrate it to you. Let's just consider math.random. Let's see what it gives us. So if I check the console now, there's a random number here, 0.9, blah, 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 blah. It's plenty. If I refresh again, let's see. I get a random number. I get a random number. But no matter how fast you refresh, the most random number you can get 0.99999. Like you can't get a singular, like a whole value or 1 or 2 or 3. You have to actually manipulate the value to get like an whole number, rather. So with this now, we can't work with this because I mean the user cannot practically guess this correctly. So what do we need to do here? Now we need to multiply our random number by our max number minus the mean number plus 1. And I'll explain this to us logically then, plus mean. Oh, okay, let's cut this out. Let's cut this out. So let's do it here. So our max dot random multiply by our max minus our mean plus 1 plus 1 plus the mean. So what this does basically is saying, okay, now let's get a number. That number we are going to get now, let's say our max is 100 or 50 minus our minimum. Our minimum is 1. So 50 minus 1 is what? 49. 49 plus 1 automatically makes it 50. Because we don't know what this maximum number is going to be, we have to put it as a checker. Do you understand? Then after all this is done, what do? We add back the minimum number to it. And if, let me copy this and let's use console log and check the value. Console log is the value and let's check. Oh, I didn't provide. So let's do, let me provide our, let's do 50 here. Let's do 1 here. So I didn't indicate this, so it can't work. It's show an error. So now that we have a value, so let's say our maximum number is 50, our minimum number is 1, and our minimum number is 1. So let's check it and let's see what we have. So we have 18.9. If I refresh, I have 21.5. If I refresh, I have 49.3. But the irony is that the highest you can also get is 49.4999999. You can't get that number 50. Do you understand? And it's practically hard for you to go to a guessing game and you enter 49.9 or 51.1. You want to enter a whole number. So to make this whole number, there's a method in JavaScript they call math.flow. So we can just practically say math.flow. So there are various properties to the math you can use here mass of round. But what I'm using here now is mass of floor. So mass of floor returns the greatest integer from that particular value. So if it's 49, automatically becomes 49.1, 49.2, automatically becomes 50. That's how it works. So let's check again. We have 12. If you notice, those points is gone. If you check again, we have 7. Check again, we have 26. Now, everything that happens here is made possible with the mass of floor, removing all those decimal places, the mass of random that can use in random number. So to get like a particular value, because mass of random won't give you a whole number, it will be 0.99999. That's the highest. So to tweak it to make it work according to what you want, you have to have a max value and a min value. And this is the maximum value the user can guess and the minimum value the user can guess. Do you understand? So this, let's say this is a formula. You can keep this in one of place on your notebook. This is a formula to generate like a random number. So what we'll do here, we'll get rid of this. Then we'll come here and say, in here, let's see, math.log. So now we have a function that returns a random number. We sorted that out. So now let's create a function that checks if the user gets correctly. And this is very robust. Yeah. So let's say function guess number. Then what this function does now, let's start with it. First of all, we have to declare a minimum number. So let's say const minimum min number is equals to 1, because regardless of the situation, this does not change. It's just going to be 1 forever. If you have plans for the minimum number to change, then you can use let here. But you don't have plans for the minimum number to change, so you can basically use const. So you can also say const max number is equals to 50. Now we have our max number, we have our min number. The next thing now is to get the secret number, because if you run this function, it returns the number, and that number is the number you're supposed to guess. So let's say const secret number, because we don't know the number basically, and the system is going to tell us secret number is equals to. We are going to call this function now the get random number. We are going to pass our min number and our max number, because that's the two basic properties expecting. So we're passing our min number, which is 1, and pass also our max number, which is 50. So after this now for our what's her name is here? Rema, because Rema is here basically. She asked why are we using let and why are we using const. Now I want to illustrate something with the let. So I can say let's guess. So if you notice now, let's guess isn't holding any value, but I declared it. And it might sound confusing to you, but I mean, if you're saying let's guess, then what happens? Why is it not holding any value? And that's why I said for constant, if you declare a variable as constant, it does not change. It's constant. That's the meaning of const. But for let, there's a possibility to manipulate that same value. If you notice now, I just put let guess. There's no indication. Now this guess is what we are going to use as a checker, and I'll put it forward. Also, I can say let attempts equals 0. I'll put this to us moving forward. So now we have our minimum number, we have our maximum number, we have our secret number, we have a guess variable, and we also have an attempt variable. So now this is where the magic happens. How do we check if now the first things first, now we also have to check if the number the user enters is correct or is the value. So let's use a while loop. So while I'll explain this in a bit. What do? We take our guess and we say is equals to prompt guess a number between min number and max number. So once the user comes in and opens our app, this is the first thing saying we are giving him a range. Guess between min number and max number. Then the next thing we'll do is say, okay, for every time the person guess, we are going to increase the attempts. So you can say attempts plus plus. So this runs anytime the user, you're adding 1 to the attempts. So if the user guesses 10 times, the attempts increases by 1. This is like a simple way to do it. You can just do attempts plus plus. Do you understand? So now let's check now if the user enters the correct number. You can say if guess is equals to null, or guess is equals to is not a number. Yes. So the particular condition I'm checking with now, if guess is equals to null, meaning maybe an empty string or the user does not enter anything, it becomes null. Then this is not a number. This is the meaning. It's any n. Any n means it's not a number. So you can use this as a checker to check anything that enters there. If it's a number, it returns true. If it's not a number, it returns false. I think Daniel was trying to do something like using the past integer or using plus. But with that, you're converting it to a number. But with this method, you are checking if the entered value is a number. So if it's a number, it returns true. If it's not a number, it returns false. So now that we have our conditions set in, we can say, so this basically, if it enters false, they will say, okay, please alert a valid number. Else, continue. Do you understand? So we have a if check now that basically checks if the user number is correct. So after doing that, what do? We now pass our guess. So we have 2 ways of passing our guess. You can say pass guess, pass integer, then enter our guess. Or you can also see this. These two does the same thing. They convert the guess to number. So you can either do it this way or do it this way. The most advanced way is this particular method here. But if you want to take things easy and everything should be readable, you can use this. So for this project, to be using one up, I'll just comment this out. In case you want to go through the code, I'll leave this here for you. But now we've converted our guess to number. So we can use this guess now to check with our if block. So we can say if first things first, if guess is equals to secret number, then what will happen? We say alert congratulations, congrats, you guessed the number. So we can say the number. Let's say the number is secret number. I always add the secret number here. Let's give how many times he guessed it. Attempts. So what we've done here now is we are creating an if block, and this if block is checking if the guess is equal to the secret number. Remember, the secret number is related here. So we are checking, okay, the guess that the person enter, does it correlate with the secret number? If it does, then enter that. If guess the number, tell them the secret number and the number of times they used to guess it. But after that, we break, and I'll explain why we're putting the break here in a minute. Let me finish with our declaration. So next thing we say else if the guess is lesser than secret number, let's tell them that too low. Too low. Try again. Then let's say else, and this is the final thing. If it's greater, there's no need of putting another condition. If it's greater, I'll just say allow them too high. Try again. Now, I'll explain this from the top again. So basically, we have a function that gets our random number. Then we have a function that checks the random number. So in doing that, we have to have like a minimum value and a maximum value, basically, because you need that to get a random number. Then you have a secret number, which you pass in your minimum and maximum. This particular returns a random number for the user to get. So this random number is supposed to match what the user is guessing. Are we clear? So now we have a variable guess, which is not holding anything, but we declared it. And why we declared it is we have plans to use this guess, but we don't know what the guess is. Do you understand? It's best to use let because it changes depending on what the user enters. It's not constant, it changes. So that's where let and const comes in. Do you understand? If you're using const now, it's permanent, it's constant, you don't have time to change it. But with let now, it changes. Same also with the attempts. So if I say const attempt is equal to 0, meaning no matter what you do, the attempt is 0. But if you notice I use let here and I'm adding the attempts here, meaning with this let now I give room for modification, for change. So let allows variable be modified, not the variable name itself, but the variable content or what you have holding the variable. Do you understand? So this 0 now can become 100, can become 2, but the attempt itself does not change. Do you understand? But with const, you are strict. You are saying name is not changing, value is not changing. So minimum is 1. No matter what you do, don't change it to be 1. It must be 1. But with attempts, you can modify the value. I want to clarify the difference between let and const. Now, we have a while block. I know some of you did not envisage this, but I'll explain why. So in doing this now, we have to always run this code depending on what the user enters here. And by using a while loop, you have to pass a condition, either a true condition or a false condition. Do you understand? If the condition is true, it keeps running. So while this is true, continue running this. While it's true, you continue running this. The only moment it stops is when it becomes false. And when it becomes false is when it breaks. Now, that's why I introduced the break keyword here. The game is won practically when the guess number is equal to the split number. You have won the game. So there's no need of going through all this again. You have to add this break to nullify this our true here. If we don't, the code will keep running, because you're not telling the code to stop. You're saying, okay, while it's true, continue running. But the only condition for this particular code to stop running is when the user like wins the game. And at this point, you have to break. Breaking means stop. Do you understand? So this function basically checks the number. So you're taking your guess now and checking if it's null or if it's a number. Like I explained earlier, you can use this property to check the content of the data. So if it's a number, it returns true. If it's not a number, it returns false. Then you can practically say, okay, not a number, please enter. Continue, make it to be run. So you have to make sure that the user does not pass this particular phase. It continues until it gets this. Once this is true, then we get our guess and we pass it. So we can use two methods in doing this. You can use the pass integer, or you can add this plus behind the guess. Somebody said in front, but in my own terms, behind it. So it depends on how you understand it the most you use. Do you understand? So now we have our conditional check. So first of all, checking if the guess number is equal to the split number, we are going to alert, oh, congrats, you guessed the number correctly in so many attempts. Then we'll break the code because there's no need for this one to run again. But if you are wrong, then you have to continue trying. Okay, guess this number too low, try again. Else too high, try again. So let's practicalize this by running it in our PS code. Let me refresh. Hold on. I'm missing a prompt somewhere. Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't. As you call the function, I didn't call the function. You have to call it guess number. You have to call the function. Sure, yes, basically. So I skipped calling this is a function, but we have to call it to initiate, okay, run, and it will run. So we have our guess the number between 1 and 50. So I don't know the number. I don't think anybody knows the number. So let's say 20. Let's say 20. Okay. Too high, try again. So I have to press try again. Well, between too high. So too high is 20 is too much. Let's say 10. If I say 10, too high, try again. So it's better than 10. Let's say 5. If I say 5, too high, try again. Let's say 2. Too low, try again. Let's say 3. Yes. So I was able to guess this particular number in 5 attempts. Do you understand? So basically, this function checks a number, but I'm not checking. It regulates it, telling you it's too high, go down, it's too low, go up. And once you get it, it allows you that you've gotten it. If there's any questions or anything you don't understand so far, kindly pop your mic and raise up your hands first, then I'll call you guys accordingly. But let me go to the chat. What's the use of continue and break in the if block? Okay, so basically now let me explain it. So now we have this block basically saying if the guess number is equal to null or the number itself is not like a number, alert this. This continue basically runs the code until you get okay. Let's try. I didn't particularize. Let's enter a string. Let's say A. What do you notice? It brings me back to that guess the number between. If I say Z, it's telling me what? Valid number. I should continue. So I have to continue doing this until I get like what I'm looking for. Once I enter to now, what do I get? I don't get that guess. I get the guess, but not with the alert of, oh, you're entering the wrong number. Notice if I enter guy here and I press OK, what do I get? Please enter a valid number. So I have to keep entering a valid number continuously until I enter a valid number. Then I move that past that phase. Do you understand? So the continue here basically is just trying to like reevaluate your answer until this becomes truthy. Because as it is now, it's falsy based on the fact that the number you're entering is a string, it's not a number. So you have to keep continue entering it until once you are done, then you move to the next phase. So continue is basically allowing you to pass after this particular check becomes truthy. I hope I explained that better. Yeah, I'll show the point. Even if you write continue to write something. So you guys can omit your mic and continue. Abdulrazak, you can omit your mic.
Okay. On the line 71 or 72 of the code.
Line 72 of the code.
Yeah, is it possible to also checkmate with the attempt by using or if attempt is you attempted 5 times, the store should break, or somebody is disqualified from guessing.
Yes, okay. I intend giving you guys as an assignment, but I'll just tell you guys now as expo. So what I intend you guys doing for your assignment is you are going to limit the whole concept to as choosing like only accepting 3 attempts. So once the user enters more than 3 times and doesn't get it, the game is over. That's why I plan on giving you guys assignment. I'm telling you guys now, so I won't give you further explanation on that. It's an assignment for me to you guys. At the end of this class, your assignment will be create a guessing number, but there's a twist to it. You can only attempt 3 times, 2 times, 5 times. Once your attempt number is like gone, the game terminates automatically. So that's like my assignment to you guys. I'm telling you now. So I won't elaborate further because I'll be giving you guys a school. So yes, it's possible to do that, to create a check, to check if your attempt number is this, then you do that. Any more questions? Any more questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
What's good?
Yeah. So, I didn't see the point where you stored the random number. Forgive me. Like when did you generate the random number that is to be used, or do you have like a fixed number or something? I didn't see it.
No, I
Sorry.
didn't. No issues, no issues. Don't need to apologize. So basically, I have
Okay, okay, okay. Random, not random. All right, all right.
so we are generating number here, and we're storing like it on this get random number. So this get random number accepts a minimum value and a maximum value. So if you enter 100 here, if you enter 1 and 100, then it will work with that mass basically. So this is where we generate our random number, and this is where we enter our attributes to that. So at this point, we already stored our random number in this repeat number. Do you understand? So this repeat number holds the random number generated. So this secret number will check our guesses with. So if it's correct, congrats. If it's not correct, it's too low or too high. Is that clear?
Yes. But while we accepting two variable, minimum or maximum, since we're just getting one number.
Okay, perfect. So there's something they call range. You have to give user range. So now let's rerun this code. So it says guess a number between 1 and 50. So let's assume now we don't have a minimum number or a maximum number. The number can run to infinity. Do you understand? So you've not put a check to number of value particularly. And I explained that using I'll do that again now. So let's just say consider log mass or random. Max dot random. So let's just say this one continue running. So let's just put on okay. So if you notice now, random number is 0.7392, blah, 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 blah. This particular number does not move past 0. The highest you can get is 0.9999999. That's the highest you can get. Do you understand? So if you don't have a minimum number and a maximum number, you don't give the user a range to guess. Do you understand? So the user can guess from here to infinity.
Can you guys see him or can you guys see me?
We can't hear him. I think he's not here anymore.
All right.
Please, anyone getting an error thingy for that continue and break?
I've not tried it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe when he comes, you can ask.
I guess this is the end of the class. Abi?
I think his system crashed again. So maybe we should give him a few minutes. He might come back.
It's just network problem actually. But he should be back, I guess.
My stuff is not
Maybe someone should
alert.
reach out on us.
It's not prompting.
Could you possibly hear things? Before I still come back.
What'd you say?
Could you possibly hear? Can you share your screen?
Oh, on my screen. Okay, okay.
Maybe we can help you.
All right.
Yeah, I hope it's something I know, Sha, because JavaScript is not my.
Yeah, somebody will
But yeah,
share.
we have Chima, and we have.
It is a disabled participants screen sharing.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I think we should have an extra class for this. So this is really, really confusing for me.
Probably he will like. We still have another class on Thursday.
Hi, sorry I left again. My PC crashed due to writing. I blocked the vet, but I'm here now. In case you guys have any questions.
Please, can we see the code again? Because my alert is not.
Okay, so I'll be sharing the code to you guys on. I'll share my GitHub and I'll post the code on GitHub. I'll share it to you guys on the channel. Okay. So basically, you can check and go through it. While you are there, don't forget to follow and study stuff. That's by the way. So I'll share it to oh shit, who is the new host now? Let's see.
And also, I don't know, I'm getting like an
Ma,
error
kindly
for
transfer the host back to me. Share what?
I'm getting an error for this continue and break.
I guess an error. What is it? Over on the code and
it's saying that a continuous statement can only be used within an enclosing iteration statement. But it's inside my.
How are you doing yours?
Okay, I use the if and that if guess is equals to null, slash is non-guess, then curly bracket, alert, please enter a valid number in bracket, then semicolon, then I put continue.
I have to see. Chima, are you there? Chima. Is the new host. So you have to transfer the host to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, can you transfer the host back to me? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you transfer the host back to me? I'm the new host.
Me?
Yes, just check on your participants, then click on my name and transfer the host.
Oh, I didn't know I'm the host.
Yeah, no issues. I left, so it gives the.
Okay.
You guys can ask questions. Like, don't be shy. Just ask anything, and I'll do my best to answer.
Okay. Oh, I mean, hold on. Hold on. See, I'm transferring to. Hold on.
No issues. No issues. Take your time.
Okay, I've done that.
Thank you very much. So, Rema, if I'm correct.
It was Plurama that I was talking.
Okay, I apologize for mixing up your name. So let's go back to my code. I'm sorry about this. So where were we? You said you did this.
I'm saying HTML. Okay. Yeah, that continue part, that if.
This block.
Yes.
Can you copy your code and send to the chat? Most likely you are putting it outside or not doing it correctly.
Okay.
But if you return an error, it's supposed to return an error.
Okay. Wait, all these things from that const to the alert is inside the block.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So you made a mistake.
Yeah, I started writing the while from outside the block.
Right. So I would host this project or this particular repo on my GitHub. Then I'll share it to you guys on the channel. Then it has all the code. Should I comment it out or I should leave it like this?
Leave it.
So it's be easy for checking.
That's it.
I can just. Can you scroll up down a bit? Up sure. I want to see the lower part of this. I want to
Sorry,
check something.
Abdul. Can you use asterisk to demarcate each of the?
Okay, used to that. So I think I numbered it. That should work. Or I can do this. It's bad. I mean, it's visible like this. I mean, then this number 2.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, how soon can you will you put the code on your GitHub?
Very soon.
After the class, right?
Yes, right after the class.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So this our number is 1, 2, 3. I think this should do.
Yeah, true.
So no more questions. Thanks for banking with us. Take care and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.